Hey, welcome everybody to the Money Free Party House. I mentioned that I'm going to be having conversations with a lot of activists and friends that I've made over the past decade working at this. And the first one we're going to do is with Erykah Sundance, who's up in Idaho. Let's get her on the screen. There we go. Hi, Erykah. How you doing?
Wonderful. I'm doing great. I'm glad to get the chance to talk with you. And I think yeah, we're activists, but we're also friends, and we're building a community and trust. And I'm glad to get the opportunity to get to know each other more. And I think this will be wonderful to have this series.
All right. Well, you're in Idaho. Is that where you grew up?
I didn't grow up here, but today I was thinking that I have lived most of my life in Idaho now. And I was born in Colombia, and half of my family's there and half of my family's here. I'm very blessed that almost all my mom's family side is here. They have like big Colombian Hispanic family, like 40 people, gathering regularly.
Well, you are one of the people who's kind of inspired me with everything that you continue to do. And I've been kind of at this for a decade since I learned about a resource-based economy, watching the Zeitgeist Addendum movie. That's kind of what got me into it, and is that where you started? What was sort of the impetus? When can you remember yourself wanting to get involved with trying to change the world in this system that we're in now, which is so destructive and suicidal?
Yeah, I kind of went through a route when I was like 11 or 12. My family got a computer and we got access to the internet, the whole like dial-up, AOL, all of this. And my family didn't quite know how much access I would be having, with the computer. It was just kind of like an experiment. And
Uh,
so I think that's why they call us like millennials, is because we have always pretty much grown up with technology and with computer and having access to this information. And so I kind of went like 11 years old on the computer, and I got into some really interesting sites and circles. I was really curious about all the mysteries in the world, and that kind of discovering things that maybe weren't so much common knowledge. And I guess you could say like I got into like the conspiracy world realm, and I was like studying all these different things, and so that was kind of my beginning into that world, and then also seeing systems and how they're working, and how corrupt the system is, and everything that's going on in the background. And and I felt like initially it's just not coming from a very like holistic place, like the system itself
yeah.
and the origins of it, and just studying like even basic history in school and stuff. Is like it's just not coming from a place, and we can clearly see the results. And so I've always kind of thought after that into systems, like how can we create a different systems for how society can function. And I went to had like kind of like a free study school where I could build my own curriculum. And so I specifically set out to like study a lot of this. And so I started with Buckminster Fuller,
Uh-huh.
and then through there, then I found out about Jack Fresco, and then like in that time, I was still in high school that the Zeitgeist documentaries came out, all of them. So I watched them all as they came
Yeah.
out, and even like after Addendum or like moving forward, I was just like, I really like this idea. I think it could work. This is it, but I don't see anybody. Like I feel like I'm alone here, just in front of my screen.
Yeah.
I didn't have a taste of the community or see who else was out there, and I didn't make the connection like with my computer to finding these circles. Okay, I'd like to bring this sort of world about. And at the time, I was kind of in crossroads of in my school about everybody, what are you going to do for college, and all this, which path are you going to take? And I was trying to think, like, within this system, which path can I take to make this a reality, this resource-based economy a reality? I decided to go the political science route, and I got a political science degree. And then I was really involved in local politics, and like running for small, like councilwomen and elections and things like that. Yeah.
I remember on seeing a post one time you were talking about when you were younger. Was it news about a war going on, or something with the pipeline, or there was something where you just couldn't stand for it, and you got your sleeping bag and you went down to the courthouse or the state buildings and camped out and just started protesting by yourself or something? Tell me about that.
It's kind of this feeling that, like, I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Yeah.
Like that sort of feeling, like there's no way, like the country that I'm living in, that I'm functioning within, is sending 80 Tomahawk missiles, like, and so yeah, I think it was like April 17th or something like that. Yeah, it's just that feeling that I'm like, even if I'm alone, like it does not feel okay just to sit there and be like, oh, another one, like each one, and then just let that news just become so like neutral in me, like not really affect me, and like just become accustomed to hearing this stuff. And I just wanted to shake myself up and be like, this is not normal.
Yeah.
Like shouldn't just be like a daily occurrence of like, what's on the news? Oh, okay, we're killing a bunch of people. And
Yeah.
so I really need to take myself out of my comfort zone here, and I have everything, and I have all the safety I have because I'm living under like a powerful oppressor. And I have all of the cheap resources that I have because of this country siphoning resources and stealing and
Yeah, there's a reason why we're living well here, but there's also a reason why people are suffering in these other countries, and it's because of what we're doing. And the powers that be try to keep that, they just try to keep that unseen. They don't want us to really know, and that's why the news is all about the soap opera that goes on in politics. When the Standing Rock was going on there, I know that's not too far from you. Did you actually go out there for those protests?
Yeah, so at the time I had just had a baby, like within those months. So I had a newborn, and I was living with a wonderful elder here, native elder Cedric, and he had he organizes and he brings together a lot of people for like sweat lodge ceremonies, and he has a teepee and things like that, and so we had um, a lot of gatherings of the type to really process, to send up prayers and smoke and all of this. So like we're very much like tapped into all of that, and we help support like local people to go out, so like with like a caravan and fill them up with supplies. And so I kind of held that space. It was very hard because it was in the middle of winter and I had a tiny little baby, and I was
Yeah.
so right before they left, Cedric and some other water protectors, we had a sweat lodge that was like the warrior sweat lodge. It was like meant to kill you and prepare you for battle, and so you can be reborn to really take on the challenges. And that was very, very difficult and physically demanding. And we send them off, and then within the community there, I was like, why don't we have our own Standing Rock kind of prototype here on the Capitol lawn? And I brought in a lot of the elders and indigenous of the area, and we met and in the teepee in a circle, and I was like, why don't we see how many teepees we can find and put them on the Capitol grounds and just make our own Standing Rock Village, you know? And towards the end of it, we were like really all pumped to do this and to like basically like occupy this area and to bring Standing Rock to Boise. And then when about a week out before we were going to actually do it, there was the news that, oh, it was like around the 31st or something of December, we won. It was like, we won Standing Rock. They said they're gonna leave.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a interesting, like some people were celebrating and we were like, we don't believe it. Until they're gone and they've dismantled their camps, we don't believe it.
Yeah, they can, it's like a little propaganda that they can put out there and make you feel good. Like, oh, you won, now you can go back to what you're doing. And then we'll get back to, doing the dirty work that we need. Yeah. So you discovered the Zeitgeist movement with those first movies and the Venus Project. And then as the years kind of have gone by, there's some other organizations that you discovered and supported, like I think we all did.
It was a big shift for me to finally be able to see online that there was like all these people in support of a resource economy, and so that just, I was super excited about that. Just made it so real for me, and it gave the whole idea of power and force and life force energy that I felt, okay, this could actually work. And that's a key realization for me, and how I arrived to think the way I do, because I realize an idea alone is just like a dream, but it's us that give the power to help it move, and it's all about just agreements. I was like, wait, so how many exactly are there? And so I made the very first post that I made in the on a Facebook group related to that was like, hey, these are the organizations that I know have to do with this. Could you add to them? And we were all kind of building a list. And so that's kind of how it got started. I'm like, okay, now what do we do with this information? Like, which one is doing what, and how do they all relate to the bigger movement? And it wasn't coming from an analyzing sort of place. It was literally just coming like from a place of like, where do I fit in? How can I contribute? I need to know what's out there so I know like where I can best plug in. And
you know, the World Summit, right, is a group that is trying to bring all the other groups together under one umbrella. Troy Wiley, Robert Schramm, a couple of my friends that are working with that, the World Summit. You're aware of that, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I was just listening at the time they weren't up yet, so I was just. But yeah, that I think that they also saw another realization, and even beyond just like the RBE group.
And then you put a site together yourself, I think, right, called commonheritage.us. And you wanted to do the same kind of thing with get people to sign up to just support this train of thought where we're going. And I signed up with that when you first put it on, and I just went back up and looked at it again. It's a very nice site, and that's one thing I want to do with this conversation here is make people aware of that. And I'm going to put a screenshot in there of the site and the link to it, and try to encourage everybody who sees this to go there and just sign up for it. There's nothing else required of you. No one will be sending you any messages asking you to do anything. It's just a show of support. And, you know, it's kind of the same thing as the Free World Charter. Colin Turner has a page there where he asks people to just sign up and support this system, and there's a couple others.
I was a big fan of Free World Charter, and I read through it, and I was like, I signed up, and there's, you know, I think Colin's done a really successful job of pushing that forward. It's got tons of signatories. I think maybe like more than 50,000. And then I had also seen Tevin with
We Agree. Yes, We Agree.life. Yeah.
Yeah, I originally started working with Tevin
Uh-huh.
and helping to develop all of that. Um, and through like working with both of them and trying to see what's working and what's not and like reevaluating, I thought that we needed something a lot more very like specific and not so much detailed, but just about like the whole vision, but with the specific intention to transition. So like me and Colin kind of talked about like the differences between Free World Charter and Common Heritage Pledge, and it was that that's kind of like outlining some of the values and principles that we would like to have.
Well, that's great. I think we can just wrap this up now. And uh, again, it's the Pledge, Common
Mhm.
Heritage Pledge, but it's commonheritage.us. And like I say, I'll have a link for it here, and everyone should go there and just sign up and put your name in there supporting this train of thought. And and then as the months go by, I'm going to be doing this through the election season because I'm trying to spread this information through, the political process, even though everyone who's in these organizations say they don't want anything to do with politics. But it's just another way to get the word out there and spread the message. While people are talking about new systems, let's talk about really putting a new vision out there of how we can actually solve hunger and poverty and get rid of wars. And it's going to take a new system. And that's what we're all working for. So
Yeah,
just,
I'd love to make a quick comment on exactly that. Definitely in support of the Money Free Party because like at the beginning it was like, okay, I support that, but that's not specifically anything that I'm inspired to do until I saw a talk like in a council in a city talk, and then there's some of somebody running for an election, and then it
yeah,
was their time to speak up in a room full of reporters and like the mainstream population and everything, and he came up and started talking about RBE, and so that really switched it for me. I'm like, what an amazing channel and opportunity to be able to get this idea and get that conversation going, like which we would otherwise not have, or it would be very expensive to get.
right.
So yeah, I fully support that.
All right. Thanks again so much. And we'll do this again. We'll check in, in the next couple months and see how we're coming along, and then talk to you again, Erykah. I just value your friendship. Love seeing you on Facebook and everything you do. And so thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye.